In today's video, we're looking at the AndyCine C7 touchscreen monitor. I'm going to tell you why this is such a good value monitor for the price. Coming right up. Hi guys, hope you're all good. Andy here with Camera Cravings. Today we're talking about monitors and specifically this, the AndyCine C7 touch monitor. Yeah, that's right, it's a touchscreen 7-inch monitor from AndyCine. If you don't already know who AndyCine are, they make quite a lot of different gear related to cameras, so filmmaking gear, monitors, microphones, V-mount battery plates, all kinds of stuff. I'll show you their website. Go and check them out if you haven't already. I'll put links down in the description below as well to everything that's talked about in the video. I found AndyCine about 4 years ago. That was when I kind of transitioned over from just doing purely photography work to doing some corporate filmmaking and filming work as well. And I started using my cameras for video a lot more and realized that the Sony cameras at the time didn't have flip out screens and the screens were pretty awful and they're still not amazing. So I invested in an AndyCine monitor, and at the time it was a 5-inch one and I think it was about $150 and or £150 in the UK, and it was excellent, really good value for money. I did quite a lot of research before I bought it, watched a lot of YouTube videos. Obviously at the time I wasn't making YouTube videos, my channel was only about a year old, and yeah, I found that AndyCine came highly recommended for kind of budget monitors. I really like things like the small HDs, but they are a lot more money and I couldn't afford that at the time. So that's my kind of history with AndyCine. Full disclosure, AndyCine actually sent me this monitor to test. They reached out to me a few weeks ago and asked whether I wanted to test a microphone of theirs and also this monitor. And I've already done a video which I'll link up here somewhere on the microphone, which I thought was excellent and a really good alternative to the Rode Video Micro if you just want an on-camera shotgun microphone, which is really cheap. And similarly, this ultra bright 7-inch touch monitor is really excellent as well. I'm going to tell you about all the features. We'll talk about what's good about the monitor, what's not great, what other options are out there if you don't want to go with this, and yeah, my kind of final thoughts on it, having used it for a couple of weeks now. So in the box, you actually get a nice hard shell case, which I think is really good. My previous AndyCine monitor didn't come with one of these, but I think most of their monitors now, even the smaller ones, come with a nice hard case. And that's really good because these things get scuffed up if they just go straight in your bag. Also in the box, you have a couple of HDMI cables. You've got a mini to full HDMI and a micro to full HDMI. You don't get a full HDMI to full HDMI. So if you do have a camera like I do, the Sony A7S III, which has a full HDMI port, you will need to buy a separate cable. You also don't get any power cable with it, although it can take a DC in, but it will take a standard power lead. So if you've got a power lead from something else, potentially you can use it with this, but do be aware that it doesn't come with that, and it doesn't come with batteries either. It also does come with a monitor arm, so you can attach it onto your camera, and that's a decent quality arm, and it's got a cold shoe mount on it as well. So this monitor costs $269 or pounds, and you can pick it up on Amazon for that. And I think in the UK actually there's a £15 off voucher that I noticed today, so you might be able to get it a bit cheaper, maybe $230, $235. Otherwise look on AndyCine's website, see if they've got any deals at any time. I'll drop links down in the description below, but for that price, I think you're getting a lot for your money. There is a C7S version of this monitor, which is basically the same monitor, but instead of just having HDMI inputs, it's got SDI. It gives you that much more flexibility. It's an extra $100, so you're looking at $369 for that monitor. But I've just got the HDMI one here, and that's what I would use because I don't currently own any cinema cameras which have SDI. And I think a lot of people are probably in that position who are looking to pick up this kind of monitor. So $269 I think is a really good price for it, given its functionality. Let's talk about that functionality now. So first of all, as I said, you're getting quite a lot of monitor real estate for the money. So this is 5.5 inches, I think, and this is 7 inches. So you can see the difference there. If I do that, you can see it is quite different. And the other thing that you're getting is its touchscreen, and that is really nice. You get a lot of functionality with the touchscreen as well. It's not just like pinch to zoom and things like that. You get a lot more than that. So this monitor says that it's 4K. What that actually means is that it can take a 4K input, and the actual resolution is 1920 by 1080, so it's full HD. It's a really nice high quality screen on it as well, and gives a really good representation of your image from the camera. The other main selling feature of this is it's an ultra bright monitor, so it's 2200 nits, and for those of you who don't really know what nits are, it basically relates to how bright the screen is. And for example, an iPhone I think goes up to about 1000. This Atmos Ninja 5 I think again is about 1000, whereas most standard kind of budget monitors would probably be around 500 or 600, maybe 800 at best. So this 2200 nit monitor really gives you that extra flexibility, particularly when you're outside in direct sunlight. You can see it much better. I'll try and show you an example of that now, the difference as you kind of pump up the brightness on the monitor, the backlight. So as I said earlier, you've got two different power options with this. You can either plug it in, if you can get a adapter plug to fit, which should be straightforward, or alternatively, you can use batteries, and it takes the Sony NPF batteries that are really common. These kind of little bricks. Let me just take this off. So yeah, it's these ones. I've got a, what's this one? I think it's a RAV Power one. You can pick these up on Amazon for about £20, $20, maybe actually less. I think you can get deals on like, I think I got 2 plus a charger for about $21. I'll put some links in the description, but yeah, again, they're really easy to find. They come in different sizes. I've got, on this monitor here, I've got another RAV Power one, and as you can see, that's a much slimmer one. And these ones, I think, are the kind of happy medium because they're not too heavy, but they will run this monitor for a long time. You can put 2 of them on the back, and once one runs out, it will flip over to the other battery. And basically, it's going to power it for a long, long time. So you can either just have one on the back at any one time or both batteries on the back, whatever your preference is, but ultimately it's going to run for a long time. I've used this for a good few hours and it didn't run out of battery. So I haven't done like a full battery test, but basically as long as you've got a couple of batteries with you, you'll be able to do a full day shoot with it. So on the monitor, you'll find a number of buttons. You have an on-off button, which also acts as the button to enable and disable the touchscreen. So that's a nice feature. I like the fact that you can actually tap it to turn off the touch functionality if you don't want the monitor to be moved or jolted. It also has 3 buttons along the top here. These are kind of F1, F2 and F3, and you can set these to different assists and different features. Similarly, you've got a little scroll wheel on the top here that's your menu button, and again, you can set this to whatever you want it to be. There's a variety of different features that it can be set to. I've got it set to zoom, so it will zoom in and out. So as I said, we've got HDMI in and out ports. We've also got a headphone jack, so you can monitor your audio. We also have 1/4-20 mounting points on 3 sides. The top doesn't have one because it has a little light sensor at the top there. So it's like an ambient light sensor that essentially adjusts the monitor brightness to however the ambient light is, and it will do this automatically. It works really well, but you can turn it off in the menu if you don't want that. Also on the side here is an SD card slot, and that allows you to load input LUTs, and I think you can have up to 50 at any one time. So that's really nice because you might have a specific LUT you want to use for filming, and you can just pop it straight in. On the back, obviously we've got the 2 slots for the batteries, and you've got these push buttons to release the batteries, which again is really nice because some monitors I've used in the past haven't had that kind of locking feature and the batteries pop off quite easily. These ones seem pretty solid. The build quality of this is quite plasticky, and as a result it's very lightweight, which has its pros and cons. I don't particularly love the build quality, but I do like the fact it's lightweight, whereas this Ninja 5, for example, is kind of aluminium mainly with some plastic, and it is a lot heavier as a result, even with no battery or anything on it. Feels nice and robust, but if you're carrying around a camera and a gimbal and all that kind of stuff, this would potentially be nice and lightweight for that. So the touch interface is really nice. If you swipe up from the bottom, you get a selection of different options for kind of screen markers and grids and things like that, and you can switch on and off your LUT. And then if you swipe up and down at either side of the screen, you get a volume control on the right hand side and a brightness control on the left hand side. And it's really nice and smooth, really good touchscreen interface. And then if you double tap the screen anywhere, it brings up this menu down the left hand side. Now, the graphics on this are a little bit kind of old school. They're a bit basic compared to something like the Atmos Ninja 5, but they do the job, and this menu is pretty intuitive. You have all your kind of assist features down the side here. So we've got focus assist, zebras, monochrome. You can do different color monochromes. You can go to false color, and there's 2 false color options. There's also the safety markers and the grid features. All the stuff that you would find from swiping up is also on the second one down here. Then the third option down gives you kind of video aspects. If you're doing anything anamorphic, it gives you the various anamorphic modes. It's got mirroring features, so you can flip horizontally or vertically, which is quite good for doing talking head stuff when you're filming yourself. And you can zoom in and out using this function as well. So yeah, there's quite a lot of options there. The other great thing about this monitor is it's got all of the video assist features that you would expect from a kind of pro level monitor. So you can have all waves on or off. So if you do that, you'd get everything on. And if you don't want everything on all at once, you can actually just individually put things on. So say you just wanted vector scopes on, and then maybe a histogram and your audio metered. So you've got audio down here, histogram over here, and then your scopes up there. Little battery indicator up there as well. And when you have 2 batteries on the back here, you actually get both indicators up, and it kind of it grays out one, so you can see which one is being used and which one is like the backup battery essentially, because it only requires one at any one time. So again, on here you can have RGB parade. You can also have YUV or Y. The only thing I don't like about that is I find if you've got everything else on, it's a little bit small. It'd be good if you could kind of have it a little bit bigger. It is bigger if you put all waves on, it gets a little bit bigger, and then obviously your image gets smaller in the frame. And I just really like the amount of flexibility you've got here. What would be really awesome is if you could drag the different elements around and move them around, but obviously this touch interface isn't that advanced. I'm not sure if there's any monitor that does that. I'm sure some of the higher end ones you might be able to do that, but yeah, that's one thing I would like to see on future models, please, AndyCine. Yeah, then you've got a lot of customization in terms of brightness, contrast, saturation, and color temperature as well. So there is a lot to love about this monitor, and just a ton of features you're getting for your money. Given this is under $300, like it's getting close to $250. Most other monitors that offer these kind of features are £500 or dollars upwards. So really good value for money. So there are a few things that I don't really like about this monitor that I want to cover now. The build quality, as I said earlier, I don't love. It's okay, but it is kind of a bit plasticky, and yeah, it's not brilliant. The other thing that I don't like is the pinch to zoom function is a little bit hit and miss sometimes. Not sure if that's because I've left the screen protector on, or if it's just not that good, or maybe it's something to do with my fingers, who knows. I found when I just pinch to zoom, it sort of sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. If I use two hands, it works every time. So maybe it's just learning to kind of do it in a particular way. Other things I don't really like about it are the monitor arm. Could be better, I think, in terms of the kind of ability to swivel and rotate. I just find AndyCine's arms, I found it on the old monitor I had, just they're not as good as something like a small HD. They're fine, don't get me wrong, but could be better. The other thing about this monitor is it does heat up quite a bit. Like now, it's been on for a while and it does get quite warm. Now, that is something I've found with any monitor pretty much that I've ever used. For example, the Atmos Ninja 5 gets really hot. Obviously, this is a recorder as well, but this does have a built-in fan and it's quite loud. The benefit of this is I don't think it's got fans in it, and if it has, they're very quiet. It's got vents in the back here. But yeah, it does heat up a bit, it gets quite warm, so just be aware of that. The other thing I don't like is the fact that all the input ports, the HDMI ports, are at the bottom of the monitor. I'd prefer them on the side. Other monitors I've had before have had them on the side, but that's just personal preference. It just means that if you're mounting this to a camera, it could potentially get in the way a bit. And again, the fact that they don't include a full HDMI cable with the monitor is a bit disappointing. I would have liked to have seen that, but to be fair to them, a lot of cameras up until recently, mirrorless cameras particularly, have been using micro or mini HDMI, so I can see why they haven't packaged it with it, but would be nice if it had all three cables in the box. But other than that, I'm actually really impressed with the overall usability and quality of the monitor, and there's not much else that's really wrong with it. It does its job, it's very competent and very good quality for the money. There are other alternatives on the market. There's some cheaper monitors that are going to do a similar job but aren't touch screens. I personally really like having the touchscreen. I think it adds a whole new dimension to these kind of monitors at this price point. Feel World and some others do slightly cheaper but similar monitors for about 240, 250. And then if you want kind of a different quality, you're looking at Small HD or Atmos, both of which make monitors, and Atmos obviously make recorders as well. So it's really dependent on what you're going to use it for, how much you're going to use it, and whether you want to invest in something that's going to cost a lot more money or not. I personally think if you just want a monitor only, this is a great way to go because you're getting a lot of monitor for your money. So that's going to do it from me today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please do leave a like and comment below with any questions you have on the monitor or anything else I've talked about in the video. I'm almost at 2,000 subscribers, so I am going to do a giveaway in the next couple of weeks to celebrate that milestone, so look out for that one. And also check out the videos I've done recently on the AndyCine microphone that I'll link in the description below. As I said, there's affiliate links down below if you want to pick up any of the stuff we've talked about. It really helps out the channel. So yeah, with that being said, thank you so much for watching. As always, it is great to have you here, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time.